Hi, welcome back to Crafty Little Things. I'm going to show you now how to do the basic stitches. And I'm going to start with a slip stitch. Now a slip stitch is the smallest stitch really in the crochet repertoire. And basically the slip stitch is usually used to join two pieces of crochet together or to travel across work without it looking obvious, without changing kind of the depth of the pattern, if you like. Don't worry if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it'll all become clear in a minute. So I've just chained a little piece of work here for us to use. Now this is the loop on the hook, as we've discussed before, I think. So this is the loop on the hook. This is not a stitch. Let me just zoom in. You'll have to excuse my nails. My nails in the last videos were atrocious, I think, because I've been doing woodwork and stuff, or something, pottery. So yeah, and I've been gluing and sticking today and dyeing, so things are not too much better anyway. So we've got the loop on the hook, and then this is our first stitch, and these are our stitches down to our slip knot beginning. Now a slip stitch requires, as we see, a chain. When we do a chain, we hook the yarn and pull it through. That a slip stitch is more or less that. It's just that we don't sort of call it a slip stitch when we're just doing it like this. We call that a chain. So a slip stitch is more or less that, but when we're doing it to join two pieces together. So imagine I wanted to make this into a circle. If you think about making, starting a project, sorry, my nose is itching. If you think about starting a project with, in the round where we join the circle, I've shown you how to do a slip stitch already. So you don't put any yarn over your hook for a slip stitch. You just push your hook into the stitch. So you go into the space between the front and back loops that we've discussed in other videos. And you push your hook into that space, and then you just grab some yarn with your hook and pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook, and there you have a circle now to work into, but you've made a slip stitch to join that together. So let me just show you that again. Could you see that? I don't know. I think you could. So this is your loop on your hook. So if you want to do a slip stitch, you do it into any of these stitches. Just push your hook into a stitch, grab some yarn, pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook, and that is your slip stitch. Okay, that's as simple as that. Now that's when you want to join two pieces together. Now if you want to travel across your work without affecting the height of the work, you would slip stitch into every stitch as you're traveling from where you are to where you want to be. So imagine you're at stitch 6 and you want to get to stitch 2. You would just slip stitch along, putting your hook into the stitch, pulling the yarn through and pulling it through your hook until you got where you wanted to be. And that wouldn't really affect the height of your work. You can also use slip stitching to make a nice pattern on the top of work, which you might see at some point. And again, it's exactly the same. You could have a finished hat, for example, and you could want to slip stitch across it to make a nice little chain effect. And again, it's the same thing. You just pick your yarn up from underneath in that instance, and then you just go into the next stitch and slip stitch, go into the next stitch and slip stitch. Okay, really, really simple. So that's the slip stitch. Next stitch is a single crochet.